The annual Concours d'Elegance in Kenya is a time of celebration for car and motorcycle enthusiasts, offering them the opportunity to proudly display their prized possessions, and the element of competition only adds to the need for them to be in peak condition. The 2011 event was the 41st running of the Concours, an impressive record for the Alfa Romeo Owners Club who organized the show. This year, the club introduced a patron for the event, and adding his wealth of experience with motorcycles, rally cars and classics was Mike Kirkland.
Most people are passionate about cars or bikes. I'm somebody who's passionate about both sides, and I have a fair degree of knowledge of both sides. So it's a great treat for me in a way, and an honor and privilege as well.
Access Kenya was once again the title sponsor, displaying a host of cutting-edge innovations.
Once again we are going to do online ticket sales, but we're also going to use some technology to really help the event. We're going to stream the event live and really just reinforcing where we sit today in the market as Access Kenya, which is the leading connectivity provider in Kenya.
As a listed event on the FIM calendar, the 2011 Access Kenya Africa Concours d'Elegance was truly international, and amongst the 98 entries were 20 from outside Kenya. The internationals included the African Odyssey adventure-seeking classic motoring enthusiasts, whose highlight of their journey across Africa from Cape Town to Cairo was the Concours.
I have attended motorsport and motoring events all over the world, in the States, Europe, Australasia, and what you have going here in Nairobi with this Concours is unique. There's nothing else like it anywhere else.
There were 2 motorcycles from the Vintage Motorcycle Club of South Africa, including a classic 1963 BMW R60 and the oldest bike ever seen at the Concours, a 100-year-old Precision.
It actually belongs to our club in South Africa. It was donated by a previous member who had an accident with the bike, and we've rebuilt the bike, and it's actually the second show we're having it at.
Courtesy of British Airways World Cargo, an Army World War surplus Red Hunter Ariel was also entered by Eric Lonsborough, representing the British Vintage Motorcycle Club.
I just demonstrate that we are able to care and carry very fragile and valuable shipment outside our normal realm of horticultural.
It was built for the British Army in the Second World War, and they built up a very large stock of spare motorcycles which were stored in case they needed them. But at the end of the war they had a great many which had never been used.
Despite the interest in the internationals, the locals were unperturbed, and as the deadline grew closer, garages across the country were a hive of activity, as cars and motorcycles were stripped and rebuilt. Some would not make the deadline, whilst others were nearly complete, but what was common was the passion to take part.
First of all, it's a challenge, and it's our passion.
I think I would just sum it as one word. It's a labor of love. That's it.
Of course, the concours is always a good encouragement to get a project ready on time.
Well, it takes a lot of passion, a lot of hard work.
Well, you know, if it comes out right and you win your class, well, of course you have, you feel good inside and you know your car looks good.
The venue for the Concours is the spacious Ngong racecourse on the edge of Nairobi, and it was here that the huge variety of pristine motorcycles and cars took their allotted places, arriving early enough for the owners to make touch-ups and give a final polish before presenting them to the judges. The standards were so high that the favourites for the best presented cars lay amongst the 6 who had all won before. This 1952 MG-TD, for example, had won on 4 previous occasions.
You've been working on this last 6-7 weeks, full time, basically. So it's not an hour's job, eh?
So you're here to win?
Yeah, yeah, if I can, yes.
The most prolific winners have come from the Phoenix Aviation stable. They had planned to enter a 1951 Jaguar Mark V, but it was not ready in time, and instead brought along their quadruple-winning 1958 VW Beetle and the defending Concours winning 1928 Ford Tudor.
You had obviously put them aside for the Jaguar, so have you done a lot of work on these two cars?
Yes, we did. We opened up all again and cleaned them thoroughly, and I think both cars are A1. They're really good. I'm hoping that the Beetle will win again.
There were also 3 previous winners amongst the motorcycles, including this 1959 BMW, a 1925 DKW, and a 65-year-old Moto Guzzi that had won 5 years ago.
And as you get older, you're not losing the passion for this?
Passion, no. Strength and compression, yes. It's going. I'm losing it.
All too soon, the participants were called to order, gathering for a final briefing from the chief judge.
Basically, we have quite an exciting day in store, really. We've got a full house of cars and bikes. And very interestingly for us, of those 74 cars, 43 of them are over 40 years old.
In keeping with such a grand event, the pipes and drums of the Starehe Boys Band proudly declared the event open. Following in their wake, the chief judge and the CEO of Access Kenya prompted the judges to be on standby for the first car. Car number 1 was a very special car, the very last Peugeot 404 pickup to be built anywhere in the world. It is still as new today as it was when it rolled off the assembly line 20 years ago. Taking the early lead and the utility class honours was this 1990 Land Rover Defender.
Nice.